Alright guys, such coming again today. Hope you're doing good and enjoying your day so far. It's that time of year again. We got the official reveal for Black Ops 7 last night and lots of reaction from the competitive COD community as to what this is going to mean. Loads of changes to this new game from what we've had at BO6. Some positive, some potentially negative. Lots of the OpTic guys give their reactions as well, especially with some of these elements of the game that might need to be banned immediately. What does Scrappy and the Gentleman's Agreement Committee have to say on the matter? Very much enjoy to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. This is Raid in Black Ops 7. I thought we would just start here. And, I mean, it looks absolutely spectacular. There is no denying that. They're bringing the maps back. Raid, Express, and Hijack. Those three maps that are returning are going to be in this, like, Japanese style. And this looks stunning, right? This is what I don't understand about COD. It's not that serious of a game. It's not a real gritty shooter like Battlefield has always been. It's always been an arcade shooter. I don't understand why in so many of these recent games, and even back in the day they would do this, but BO2, certainly BO3, and then really Black Ops 4, spectacular in terms of the colour, right? The saturation. And it just makes the game way more fun to play. Back in games like World War II, I remember I used to plug the PS4 through the Elgato and then use the Elgato software to crank up the saturation to the max, and it genuinely made the game far more fun to play. So I'm glad they're doing it right. I mean, this map is more colourful than it was back in Black Ops 2, and hopefully they keep this colour gradient not just for this map but for the entire game. Look, I'm never going to complain about Raid being back in. The map is getting ready again to carry the map pool and the three modes that we have. But yeah, look at this on the pool side of the map with the tiki hut, with Muddy, with the jacuzzi. Oh, it's all just so spectacular. And this, of course, basketball court. This is the fourth hard point on the map before we rotate back to P1. Other maps are coming back in as well, as we know. We think they're also going to have that kind of Japanese style, but it's great to see. Like, as I say, Raid in the game is always a positive in my opinion, and it looks absolutely stunning. And hopefully that color quadrant, or whatever you want to say, continues. And I think that it will, based on what we're going to see here in a second. Now, other guns are back in the game. The Peacekeeper apparently is coming back. This gun, you guys might remember, was like a DLC gun. Well, it wasn't a DLC gun, but it arrived with a DLC way back in Black Ops 2. It was kind of one of the first, I mean, I don't want to call it a flex gun, but it was considered to be like a hybrid between an SMG and an assault rifle in terms of its mechanics. And it was not used in competitive that year, but it was pretty popular in public matches, and to be fair, for good reason. Not sure why you'd whack an MMS scope on it, but, you know, it is what it is. These classes you look back at are always kind of funny, like the M8 Select Fire. Anyway, the M8 is back, the Peacekeeper's going to be back, and apparently the PDW is back as well. Another great SMG from Black Ops 2 before it was kind of overhauled by the MSMC when they had a bit of a PDW nerf right at the start of that game's life cycle. But yeah, pretty interesting. The Peacekeeper could be viable. Obviously, who knows what's going to happen when the game launches. The Rampart, as we talked about yesterday, is also back in. It's basically like a Scar, but yeah, that's going to be called the Eagle, we think. So that's what was leaked last night. The M8 is back as well. This should come as no real surprise, but it's definitely exciting to have a proper M8 4-round burst weapon back in the game. Black Ops 4 had, what was it called, the Swordfish, and I'm sure that they will try, Treyarch, to make the M8 viable. Now, there has been some talk, even back in the day, the M8 was a strong gun, 4-round burst, you could get killed immediately, and some of the pros would be like, oh, well, for the last few games, we've not had these 3-round burst weapons, 4-round burst weapons in competitive play, because it just seems that they're not able to be balanced appropriately, and even if they are, the pros just ban them anyway. Whereas, hopefully, if they get the M8 right, it could be back in, and frankly, it should be back in, because it is a legendary weapon in COD. This is another one. This is the Maddox from Black Ops 4, and, well, we know that one specific player in Dashy had a rather good year with the Maddox in hand. There's loads of old school guns coming back, and how are they going to be balanced is a very good question, but there is reason for optimism from some of these players. This is the M8, we think, back in the game, and this appears to be the DSR-50, certainly looking at the end of the barrel, a 50 caliber sniper rifle. It was rumored to be back in the game. So we're going to have a DSR or some sort of legendary sniper back in Black Ops 7, which of course raised questions immediately on what are we going to do about it? What do the pros say? We've not really had snipers in COD for some time because the pros say, oh, it's cheese, one shot, one kill, the smokes are broken so we can't counter the snipes, etc, etc. The reality is, if snipers were allowed, would we be having 4 snipers on a map per team? No. There would be maybe 1, maybe 2, and it wouldn't ruin the game. Now, I can see the argument in some circumstances. as to why it could be problematic, but I think the majority of the community at this point is on board with basically forcing the pros to use it. And Zuma, again, is leading the line on this one. Apparently, he actually had a conversation with Activision director Robert Taylor about trying to limit the pro GAs. What can we do to effectively force the pros to play the game as it was intended to be played? Not to say that we should play it out of the box exactly. Look, claymores should not be allowed, right? Like, there are certain things that should be banned, and for good reason, but getting rid of the sniper rifle when it adds a lot of intrigue to the scene, and, you know, Shotzzy's always on board with improving the viewer experience, and I think that he's absolutely right to feel that way. With any luck, we are going to get a sniper, possibly the DSR, back in competitive play this season. These are all the maps, by the way, so there's going to be 16 6v6 maps, and there was also talk that this game has been developed alongside Black Ops 6. They pretty much started developing on them at the same time. So this, look, I don't want to say, oh, here we go again, right? It's going to be the best game ever. But this was the game that, like, kind of Black Ops 6, I don't want to say was meant to be, but this, of the games that Treyarch have been working on over the last few years, where their focus has been, this was the game, right? So, like, if this game isn't good, then we are cooked. But it looks pretty stunning so far. And the fact that there's 16 6v6 maps, it's a good start, right? It's a good start to have 13 unique ones, 3 ones that are coming back, and we know that Raid is going to be played for all the modes. Don't know about Uplink, I suppose that'd be pretty interesting to see how that could potentially play. We'll discuss that in a second. Express Hijacked, we know could be played, well, Express could be played for Search and Destroy. Hijacked, unlikely, although it was played in Hardpoint right at the start of the Black Ops 2 lifecycle. And then if the other maps are terrible, which they probably won't be, but if they are terrible, because I like the vibe of quite a few of these, if they are terrible, then at least we can bring back some other old school maps as well. Now, Scump thought this could be Breach, which is Black Ops 3 map, of course. It does look like that underground building in Breach. It was, you know, was it like the 4th hardpoint or whatever? You had 1, 2, 3, yeah, the 4th hill, I think. You know what I'm talking about? There was like a staircase that went up to the top AC bit, and it had all these computers around the side. It does have that vibe. I don't think it actually is that room looking at it, but look, who knows? Could they bring Breach back? Possibly. The issue is I don't think Breach would work that well with no wall running, and we don't have wall running, but we do have wall jumping. So let's actually have a look at some gameplay here, right? This is pretty good to see. Again, we're on a new map here. The colors, pretty stunning, right? It's a good start. I mean, I know it sounds stupid, but genuinely, like, this makes a difference in terms of how fun the game is to play. So we're hitting the mount, and then he's sprinting, but you can see this isn't tac sprints, this isn't the guns up in the sky, this is regular, normal sprint as it used to be. Then he hits the dolphin dive, and he shoots while he dies, which is pretty interesting. Then we've got this guy running up the stairs as well. So this is what the early gameplay looks like. It looks pretty nice to me as far as I'm concerned, but look, don't want to get ahead of ourselves too much. This is what's happening on the Omni movement. So there's a wall jump, there's tuning across the board for a more controlled experience, and tac sprint is gone by default. Now I will say, this is where things, you know, I'm happy with pretty much everything that they revealed yesterday. Some things I'm a little bit kind of concerned about. Something like Tactical Sprint, for example, why should we have a perk to use it? I think that it feels like Treyarch, they don't want to make a big gameplay decisions. They're like, well, we'll turn it off by default, but if you want it back, you can run a perk. Now, Huke is going to say, we'll see the clip in a second, just GA the perk. It should just be normal run and then normal sprint, as it used to be. No tac sprint, nothing like that. And I would love that to be the case, to go back to just a world where there's no tactical sprint. Some don't mind it. I prefer it as it was. It is what it is. But instead of Treyarch making that decision, they're saying, well, you actually can use it if you have the perk. But and obviously that's potentially a big deal for gameplay balance as well. The other one that I think I would like to see changed is there's no ADS while sliding, diving, or wall jumping by default. You've got to use a perk for that. I think in Black Ops 6, the Omni movement, that you can slide around, you can dive around, and you can aim down sights in the process. You know, you're sliding backwards, you're aiming down sights. It actually feels very natural. So I don't think that should either just be as standard, in my opinion. I don't think you should necessarily need a perk for it, because you're going to end up finding there's crutch perks that people use. Look, maybe it balances quite well if you're a main AR. Maybe you don't need to slide backwards and aim down sight at the same time. So maybe you don't use the perk, you get something else. There could be a balance and a trade-off there, but I thought that could probably just remain as a standard part of Omni movement without the need for an additional perk. The specialist bonus is coming into a tryout game, which is pretty cool to see. There's a few other notes, of course, here as well. This is active camo. And, well, we can have a glimpse of it getting activated, and then this is what it looks like in this particular environment. Pretty invisible. Not impossible to see. I imagine this is going to be in competitive. I think the other question is, for some of these things, there was talk that grapple hook is only going to be in, let's say, campaign and stuff. But grapple hook, okay, could it be a specialist? Maybe not, but could it be a field upgrade as well? You know, we could have specialists, we could have field upgrades as well. So, yeah, this is what it looks like. The active camo is going to be a field upgrade for the start of the game. This mega jump, as we talked about yesterday, is like a power-up that's only available in campaign and what they call endgame mode. It's a power-up you earn in campaign, not in multiplayer. But there has been some talk, would it be possible to add that to uplink, right? Like, if you're holding the ball, do you get to use a mega jump or something in order to get to the portal? It's something to think about. So this is the wall bounce, which is pretty interesting addition to the game. We actually did see it a second ago. Yeah, this was the clip here, pretty much the one that most people have been talking about. You hit this wall, you can bounce off it, and you definitely get quite a, bit of a momentum boost for this. You kind of have to get on the wall, then you bounce off the thing. So yeah, you can kind of wall run it as well. You can see here that you can like half wall run and like bounce off it. So yeah, pretty fascinating. Look, I like to see this kind of advanced movement stuff slowly arriving back into the game. I think that it makes the game more interesting to play. It raises the skill gap. And it's probably going to make for a better viewing experience as well. Of course, there's been talk about, well, all of these things that are in the game now, what needs to go, what's going to get banned. Scrap says, damn, it didn't talk about the anti-cheat. And fair enough, right? There's people that are saying, oh, this COD's going to be the best one ever. But it's like, well, if cheaters are still an issue, then they're still going to ruin the game. Attach says, don't GA snipes reveal. You were terrible with or without them for the last 6 years. Ring check, says Attach, which goes pretty hard, I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, Scrap kind of got cooked on this one. And Scrap did also say that he's not going to GA the M8. Not like he gets to make the call, but, people are saying, oh, Scrap's worse than Slasher and Lamar were, like accuracy, when they were the GA commissioners. Scrap's anti-fun and all this. And maybe there's some truth to that, but because Scrap's definitely anti the snipers, as we know. But he says, look, I've got a 1 burst, I'll be walking around bursting all year. So it looks like he's not going to be pushing to ban the M8. But I wanted to share a couple of comments here from the OpTic guys. Obviously, Dashy's like, oh, here we go again, they're going to ban it straight away. Huke talking about a few things as well, wanting to get rid of tactical sprints. Few interesting reactions here from the OpTic guys, and also about uplink as well.
Signature humor. We get this good balance of the energy that he brings, but also the way that he can take David aside and be really honest with him. Michael Rooker reprises the role, and he brings every ounce of personality you'd expect.
That thing's not a lot of fun.
After protecting the president,
whatever that guy's rehearsing with is good.
He formed a deep respect for David.
Someone said, who's running grapple?
I mean, Kyler. Actually, nah.
I actually told Kyler, I was like, bro, honestly, you have a year worth of rep, like, you might have to run this shit.
No, he was demonic on that, I can't lie.
But it kind of just like what Kyler said, it's like whatever suits like.
I said, you know what I told Ant?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm down to run it, but I said, like, let's say, like, the grapple has Omni movement. Maybe you should run it.
Yeah. If it's some that's like,
imagine like
how would the grapple
if it could be Spider-Man, then yeah, bro.
Yeah. But nah, if it's like purely just like
the grapple,
you just grapple and run in, like obviously, like I'm down to run that for sure. Do I like it?
Wait up, be honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool, but you just go in first. Like,
wait up, I'm actually curious.
Everyone's saying Dashy Tempest.
Tempe.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't give a fuck if people hate me for this. I think we should GA it, bro. Ooh. GA tax sprint? Hell yeah.
Well, what?
What? Only available in co-op campaign? So how the fuck are we? So I'm assuming we're just gonna wall bounce into the fucking point. I think.
There's probably like a ramp. I think they're gonna make like a universal ramp across like all the maps just for uplink. Has to be.
Has it ever been like that?
No.
What was Gridiron?
It should be if you have the ball, you can jump maybe.
Gridiron was uplink, but the
that's probably they might do that.
Why
if you have the ball, you're the only one that can jump.
Why have they never thought of that?
Yo, Perk is cooking.
I'm not even trolling. You have like a greater height.
Okay, Perk.
Okay, yo.
Get me on the Activision team.
Because now, like, yo,
is Mercules cooking when it comes to getting a boost here with the ball, like a mega jump to get into the portal? Maybe. I will say, it was kind of nice for a defender to be able to do so. for example, there has been some talk if there's maybe an area around the portal where you get, I don't know, less gravity or something, and that means that defenders could intercept, because I would like a world where if somebody tries to make a 1-point throw, a defender can actually go and intercept it. So my idea is, and it might be a bit outrageous, but wherever the portal is, you have like a zero gravity zone around the portal. Not zero gravity, but like moon gravity, I don't know. And it allows you to jump into the portal if you're holding the ball for a 2-point throw, but if there's a 1-point throw coming in, it allows you to jump up and actually intercept it. So that's my solution. Intrigued your thoughts in the comments. The other option is to put like artificial walls next to the portal so you can wall bounce in, which maybe works, but prevents, you know, the ability to intercept possibly. Something to think about. But yeah, that's the reaction. Simp says Black Ops 7 looks superb. Nadeshot says cautiously optimistic. Death to tac sprint is one of the best changes Call of Duty has made in years. Shotzzy says, is COD effing back? The beta comes out at the start of October. There'll be lots more to talk about between now and then. Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.